So, my dear friends, I deeply value your kind invitation to share our experience and thoughts on the efforts needed to tackle all the dimensions of poverty, as Sabine said. Talking to you is an opportunity, and I appreciate it profoundly, not only because this is one of the most prestigious and world-renowned universities, but also because I'm enthusiastic about this Latin American center. I applaud the existence of this center because I strongly believe that Latin America needs to build ties with centers of knowledge, creation, and scientific research in order to foster discussions and debates about the problems that affect all of us, that are almost the same, and you have seen that through your studies, and create together smarter, innovative, and new and more effective, most of all, and innovative solutions to resolve them. As you know, Latin America is the region with the most unequal income distribution of the whole planet, an issue that has become our greatest challenge, definitely, and most for you, this new generation that is going forward. When you take a brief look at the social forecast of Latin America, you will see a region limited by a poorly diversified and highly heterogeneous productive structure, where sectors of low productivity generate almost 50% of employment. This is a fundamental cause of inequality, of course. If we add to that context the large social debts to the most vulnerable, the urgent need to raise public spending in the social areas, especially in education, sanitation, food security, and health, the result is a vicious circle of poverty reproduction, which results in a socio-demographic panorama that requires urgent attention. Moreover, when you compare social spending in Latin America against the United States or Europe, for example, you find huge differences that range from 10 to 20 points of the GDP. Putting all of this together, the outlook presents us with a great challenge to achieve multidimensional progress for all. Latin America has demonstrated its effectiveness in the implementation of social interventions. But once implemented, we see flaws in their design, flaws that distance us from achieving the needed results. Nowadays, with the technology and the knowledge available, humanity has a great opportunity to win the fight against poverty. But as we all know, poverty has complex structural roots, or as I describe it, it is a monster with a lot of heads that we have to tackle them all. That is why we need to unite efforts, talents, and capacities with the academic and scientific community. We need to integrate testing, research, and intelligent use of data, and now the big data, to the design of public policies. Latin America requires a simultaneous and horizontal approach of institutional actions, economic measures, and legal reforms. But moreover, we need the political will and social commitment to work to back up a new vision of sustainable development. Unfortunately, we have been obsessed in seeing poverty and inequality only as a matter of income. It is a legacy, as you well know, from the Washington Consensus, which told us that income alone would create prosperity. So whenever one of our countries enters a period of economic boom, we assume that the GDP growth by itself would indeed generate welfare for all, like in a cascade effect. And that does not happen alone. In order to achieve sustainable development, I defend the need to put economic policy and growth to work towards social inclusion and for the well-being of all. And for that, we need a more holistic approach. An example of the discrepancy between different approaches to measuring poverty is this. Recently, for example, OFI published the global MPI, where they found that 26.5% of the people living in the 103 countries in the study are multidimensionally poor. It is a great contrast with the data that we manage if you compare this number against the data of monetary poverty, where you find that by 2015, around only 9.6% of the world population live in absolute poverty. So where are those poor people? Are we hiding them? Are we missing them? Where are they? We have to take them out. We have to look for them. We have to work with them. So in my country, for example, we have reduced monetary extreme poverty to 7.9% of the population, but we still have to improve access to clean water to 24% of the population. By focusing only on income, many countries have found that the indicators for social progress are lagging behind, prohibiting social mobility of the population. To change the focus on income, I believe that the first step is to use proper measurements that integrate all the factors that produce poverty. Quoting Joseph Stiglitz, that you most well know, what you measure, he says, what you measure affects what you do. If you don't measure the right thing, you don't do the right thing. Thankfully, in recent years, the discussion to adopt new ways to understand and characterize poverty has become a priority in most of our countries, and within the international organizations also, like United Nations, IDB, and others. We are winning the battle towards the recognition of the multidimensional nature of poverty. I have been recently in Costa Rica, where the group of countries that belong to the Central American Integration System, also known as SICA, discussed the importance of tackling poverty from a multidimensional approach. Costa Rica, El Salvador, Dominican Republic, Mexico, Bolivia, Argentina, Panama, Ecuador, Cuba, to mention only a few, are making an effort to introduce the multidimensional approach to public policies, especially in the fight against poverty. Mexico and Colombia have already started. A multidimensional approach to progress and equality implies analyzing its economic, social, political, and cultural aspects, as well as taking into consideration the different structures that define the social, political, and economic relations of Latin American societies. As for the Dominican Republic, very soon, we will be implementing the Multidimensional Poverty Index developed by OFI. I'm certain that our MPI will be the most important tool for building the next generation of social policies. It means that we will be in an ideal position to transform the way public policies are designed and implemented in the Dominican Republic and enable a more accurate approach towards the fight against poverty. This will be a concrete tool for promoting sustainable welfare of citizens, one that could transcend beyond per capita income, and that can be used to standardize the measurement of human development. For this improvement, I have to thank the Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative, and especially Sabine Alcayer, for getting us on board this train that will forever change public administration. I remember the day I met John Hammock, who introduced me to Sabina and Anofi. It was like finding water in the desert, because for many years in the Dominican Republic, I have been implementing a program that goes in the path towards a multidimensional approach to development. Let me tell you a little bit about it. In 2004, we created a social protection network for the poorest of the poor, under the well-known scheme of conditional cash transfer and targeted subsidies, to which in 2012, following my belief that income is not enough to expand the liberties of the people, we integrated the effective novelty of a socio-educational intervention. This intervention is called Progresando con Solidaridad, or Progressing with Solidarity. And it is done directly to families recipients of the CCT and their communities in a form of direct coaching to motivate, accompany, and guide each family to reach multidimensional progress indicators set by the program Progresando con Solidaridad. With Progresando con Solidaridad, we focus on building capacities among participants, on closing gaps of access to public services and information technologies, on gender inequality, and on reducing exclusion, managing to cover 82% of the families identified as poor or vulnerable. All families participate in activities and receive public services in 7 components of human development: health, education, food security, income generation, environment, protection, access to information technologies, that's an innovation, personal development, and identification. The combination of the CCT and the socio-educative guidance have had an impact, reducing school dropout, reducing anemia, increasing immunization, creating technical professional skills, generation of income, and countless others. According to a study published by the Inter-American Development Bank, if the program Progresando con Solidaridad did not exist in the Dominican Republic, extreme poverty would be 24% higher than the current figure, and general poverty would increase by 6%. We have also contributed to the reduction of monetary poverty by 9.1%. The program has also had an impact on strengthening the local economy. We have included a network of 6,000 small businesses, approximately, which offers their products to the more than 800,000 families of the program. 800,000 families are in our program, receiving all our support and company. As you can see, we have started an ambitious journey towards a multidimensional approach to reduce poverty and inequality. But our journey and the journey that is being undertaken by other nations in Latin America to attack poverty in all its dimensions open a new debate also. And that is, with the multidimensional poverty index, we will have more and better information, definitely. Therefore, we will count with better policies. But these policies will need financing in order to be implemented. And this is a special challenge to Latin America. Why? On one side, most middle-income countries have a very low tax pressure. For the Dominican Republic, it's around 14%. Evidently, not enough money to tackle the many problems our country faces. On the other side, most of our countries have been promoted to the status of middle-income countries. We have been automatically removed from most of the international aid for development. Despite that, the challenge is not only for our countries. It is a global matter because 72% of multidimensional poor people live in middle-income countries, such as the Dominican Republic, and as has been recently reflected by the global MPI. The global discussion that have started in recent years in the academic world of development about the need of multidimensional approaches must incorporate then the challenges we face on funding the programs we need. This is a discussion that a center like this, that you, people representing ambassadors from Dominican Republic and all Latin America, as students, you should take also in the heart of an influential university like Oxford, and can take on and drive the Addis Ababa agreement on how to finance development in these new scenarios. Finally, I would like to address a few important facts about multidimensional poverty in Latin America. Most of the region faces big suspicions on government spending on social programs. For example, the objectives accomplished by conditional cash transfer programs and other social policies are not well understood, which sometimes damage its credibility. A multidimensional approach helps to understand better the performance of social policies and of government administration. This is important because the work needed to achieve the SDGs, as you know, or multidimensional progress, requires important decisions at the political level, which calls for the support of the population. At last, I find that it is essential to promote among all government agencies a productive strategy for public and private alliances. Countries and communities everywhere are facing pressures that are being exacerbated by mega trends like population growth, rapid and chaotic urbanization, food insecurity, water scarcity, massive movements of population, and immigration. The challenges we face are complex and require the will of all groups, the creativity of all minds, and the commitment of all humanity. I will end my remarks with an invitation to have a better understanding of Latin America and its social reality. You must experience the conditions people live in and see on first hand what governments are doing and the impact they are provoking. I put my country as an option, as we have developed an special immersion experience of our social programs for government officials, journalists, colleagues, students, and I will be very glad and honored to receive you there so you can see and emerge and be in touch with poverty and how are we tackling it, and receive also some of your comments and new ideas and fresh ideas. Building bridges to exchange knowledge can guide our countries faster to achieving their goal, social justice and shared prosperity. Thank you very much, and God bless you all, and I hope you learn always a lot and work a lot for the best of your countries. Thank you.